Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular meeting of Fernie City Council held at 6:30 p.m. on February 27th, 2024. Kisu Kukit. I'll begin by acknowledging that the city of Fernie is located within Kukinamakis, the unceded territory of the Yakutat Nucleate. We recognize that we live and work in their vast lands. Akanahunik are from Yakutat Nucleate and are members of the Ktunaxa-speaking peoples of British Columbia, Idaho, and Montana. And before I call the meeting to order, I want to thank Councillor Audia Kelly for reminding us that tomorrow is Anti-Bullying Day, and that we should, if we have one, wear a pink shirt in honor of that. And some of us have been able to pull that off. So thank you, Councillor Audia Kelly. I'll call the meeting to order. And I'll ask for approval of the agenda and any late items, that the agenda for the regular meeting of February 27th be adopted. Can I have a mover? Councillor Ramadas, seconded by Councillor McIsaac. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. That's unanimous. And then I'll ask for a mover or seconder for adoption of the minutes from February 13th, 2024 regular council meeting. Moved by Councillor Audia Kelly, seconded by Councillor Ramadas. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you for that. And I will now invite the public in attendance, of which there are none, or attending online who wish to comment on items listed on the meeting agenda in accordance with section 3.7.3 of the procedure bylaw to address council, except speakers must not address council regarding a matter for which a public hearing must be held or has been held pursuant to the Local Government Act prior to council's consideration of the matter or adoption of the bylaw. Speakers must not address council regarding a permit for which public notice must be given or has been given pursuant to the Local Government Act prior to council's consideration of issuance of the permit, and a speaker may only address council for a maximum of 3 minutes. And I will look to Ms. Rose to see if anybody online has indicated they'd like to speak. Thank you. That moves us along to item 11.1, a development variance permit application number DVPA 574. A report from our manager of planning. Welcome, Mr. Similini.
Thank you, Worship. There we go. So good evening, Council. Tonight we are looking back at development variance permit application number 574, coming before you tonight for authorization of issuance. As we had discussed in the previous council meeting, DVP 574 is intended to allow for the construction of the daycare and multifamily building being built next to our aquatic center on the corner of Pine Avenue and Ridgemont Drive. The variance is it's a wide range of variances, mostly for setbacks, building height, and parking. The odd shape of the lot here really requires there to be variances given where the buildings sit on the land. And one thing we didn't discuss in the last meeting was that something that is very important with childcare facilities is the play area, or the area for the children to be outside. So that also had to be considered as well with the site plan. Parking and height variance is also the height variance. We're asking for a variance up to 18.0 meters. However, the proposed height of the building itself right now is 15.5. So the 18 meters does give a lot of a buffer area, but it's worth noting that the height of 18 meters is consistent with the downtown properties across the tracks. So very straightforward that we're recommending tonight that council authorize the issuance of the development variance permit.
Thank you, Mr. Similini. Any questions from council? Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you. Just one quick question. 18 meters, does that what does that correlate to as far as like stories?
Thank you, Worship, through to Councillor Hamilton. I'm not sure exactly what the story number would be. Mr. Bornowski may know the amount of stories in the building, or I believe it's 4, but
This building at 15.5 meters, council, is 4. And then there's some, forget the word, but essentially architectural enhancements to improve the streetscape and view, the design of the building. A full 18 meters, though, I believe would be a 5-story building, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, that's correct. So with an additional 2.5 meters in height, you could do 5.
And sorry, Mr. Simley, the 18-meter variance is just so that it conforms with the downtown zoning.
That's correct, Your Worship. So the proponent did ask for 18 meters, again, just to give that sort of buffer. They have no intent of going all the way up to 18, but they were worried that if they went 15.5 and it went a foot or two over, because they weren't finalizing they hadn't finalized their design, that the variance would be no good. So they just said 18 meters is consistent with what's across the street. So we'll just ask for that, and they'll give us lots of spaces, was what they had come forward with.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? Seeing none, I'll ask Mr. McConnell to read the recommendation.
Excuse me. Thank you. The recommendation is that council authorizes the issuance of development variance permit number DVP 574 for 302 Pine Avenue.
Moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Adia Kelly. Any further discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Similini. We now have item 11.2, a support for RDEK Regional Emergency Operations Center grant. A report from our Deputy Fire Chief, Mr. Robinson.
Good evening, Your Worship and Council. Just bear with me. Thank you once again. So I'm here in front of you tonight, once again, asking for a council resolution in support of a grant partnership with the RDK. This time it's with respect to emergency operations centres. It's another community emergency preparedness fund grant from the UBCM. This grant would have 6 partners, the regional district of East Coonies and the other 4 municipalities, 1 First Nations listed up there, for a total of $180,000 grant application, which is basically broken down into $75,000 spent towards EOC digitalization and equipment upgrades. And in that, we've asked that they set aside up to $10,000 for the city of Fernie, and we would use that money to purchase backup satellite internet equipment. What they're looking at doing is obviously these days, you need internet for pretty much everything, FaceTiming, Teams meetings, things like that. And so we're looking at Starlink as an option here. Starlink is a sort of a pay-as-you-go subscription-based service. So whilst we would use the grant money to fund equipment, we wouldn't necessarily use it to fund a subscription. You don't need a subscription for Starlink. The way it works is if you need it, you activate it. So in the event of emergency, we lose internet through terrestrial means. We would then activate the satellite one, and we then deactivate it when we no longer need it. And in speaking with Emergency Management Climate Readiness, EMCR, as it's a backup service to support our current land-based systems, the costs of subscription for that time that we would need it would be covered by the task. So the upshot being that the 10,000 would buy the equipment, but there would be no ongoing cost to the city fund. It's not that they would have to buy then an annual subscription to Starlink. It would be activated when needed, deactivated when not needed, and the cost would be covered by the task itself. So there's no ongoing cost there, no real capital cost for that. In addition, the RDK are looking at spending $70,000 towards training. That's either tabletop exercises across the region, or they are considering a full-scale exercise this time. We're also looking at ICS 400 and some resilient minds, some psychological sort of like first aid training. And then as a backup to satellite, they're also looking at spending $35,000 on continuing their radio upgrades they've been working on. So that's essentially how the money at a high level would be spent. And free for any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Any questions around the room? Councillor Hamilton?
Thank you. Is there a reason why Yakutak Nuclear isn't included in this?
Through your worship to Councillor Hamilton. I'm not sure. The RDEK approach all First Nations and local governments within the East Kootenays to support them, and you'll notice there's quite a few missing off there. They have the opportunity, perhaps they're applying, they've identified some local need that they're going to apply for independently. I couldn't answer any other way than that.
Thank you. Sorry, just so I understand the Starlink, I don't know if it was in your report or it was in a previous report about remote attendance during activation of EOC. So that yourself, for example, wouldn't necessarily have to travel to Cranbrook to participate in the EOC if the incident or the task was here.
Your worship, yes, that was on the last application for the emergency support services. We did say that, I forget why now, trying to cast my mind back. I slept since then. But trying to think, I can't remember. But in this sense, the internet is the way that we would communicate with Cranbrook, and conference calling, virtual online meetings is definitely the way we do a lot of business these days, and allowing us to remain in Fernie and be on the operations side is far more beneficial to the citizens of Fernie than having staff in Cranbrook. Not that we wouldn't send staff to Cranbrook as well, but having the majority in Fernie would certainly help the situation if there were one. Yeah,
and there's a foreseeable potential that you couldn't get to Cranbrook.
Sorry?
There's a potential you couldn't get to Cranbrook,
Indeed,
know, depending on the nature of the incident. Yeah.
And as part of their EOC upgrades, they're looking to digitalize things and make a lot more accessible by the internet. EMCR are doing that as well. A lot of the documentation you need is online. A lot of their calls now are virtual and run out of Nelson. And they can bring everybody together on the same call, and as well as other agencies that we would be potentially liaising with, BC Wildfire, for example. So the need for internet is definitely a strong one in an emergency, and having that backup capability will certainly be of a benefit if the incident was such that it took out land-based communications.
Right. I think securing that communication is wise, and I certainly appreciate what you said about the subscription fee being attributed to a task number, and therefore we wouldn't bear any cost for that. Yeah, Your Worship, we definitely made that asked that question of VMCR because we wanted to make sure that whilst we have the equipment, the hardware, that there would be no burden on the city and taxpayer with regards running that service. No, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll ask Mr. McConnell to read the recommendation.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. The recommendation is that the Regional District of East Kootenay, RDEK, be authorized to submit a joint application on behalf of the City of Fernie to the Union of British Columbia Municipalities, UBCM, under the grant stream Community Emergency Preparedness Fund, CEPF, for Emergency Operations Center and training to support the EOC upgrade and modernization project to build emergency operations capacity, and that should the application be successful, that the RDEK be authorized to receive and manage the funds and to provide overall grant management for the project.
Can I have a mover? Councillor Audia Kelly, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Any further discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Chief.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council.
Item 11.3, an approving officer appointment, a report from Mr. Lennox, our Director of Planning. Good evening.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you is an RFT to appoint our planning manager, Derek Similini, as a approving officer for the corporation of the city of Fernie under section 75, subsections 1 and 2 of the Land Title Act. Derek has successfully completed the LGMA Municipal Administration Training Institute course, which is a 5-day course that reviews case studies in subdivision design and approvals and reviews the applicable provincial legislation such as the Land Title Act and the Strata Property Act. So that type of training is consistent with our first strategic recommendation of the Development Approvals Review Report to provide holistic staff training and professional development. So Derek, again, was successful in that training. Mr. Simolini has over the years reviewed subdivisions from the context of the zoning bylaw perspective. So he'll be immersing himself working with our acting engineering manager under his skill and expertise in reviewing and applications in the under the perspective of the subdivision development servicing bylaws. He'll get up to speed on the road profile details and other construction details related to subdivision in that bylaw. Having a third approving officer will certainly provide additional capacity to ensure subdivision application review service is not disrupted, and another approving officer is away for work for whatever reason. So that certainly will help myself out in that regard. Just for council's information, from 2019 to the end of February of 24, we've had 53 subdivision applications. They've been generally consistent in number for those 5 years, and 253 lots have been created over that time frame, as well as 2 strata conversions, which I think were for 2 fourplexes. So there would have been 8 new strata lots created with those 2 strata conversions. So I'm delighted to recommend to council that Derek Simolini be appointed as approving officer for the corporation of the city of Fernie.
Thank you, Director Lennox. Any questions? Just an observation. I think consistent with our strategic plan as council under operational excellence. This is not that we don't love having you around, Director Lennox, but this is a great step in terms of succession planning as well.
That's
so
correct. Yep.
Yeah, well done.
No doubt.
And well done, Mr. Simolini. So I'll ask Mr. McConnell to read the recommendation, please.
Certainly. The recommendation is that council appoint Derek Simolini as an approving officer for the corporation of the city of Fernie.
Moved by Councillor McIsaac, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Any further discussion? All in favor? Excellent.
Yep. Thank you.
Congratulations. I hope you have a glass of water. This moves us on to item 12, notice of motion. There's 2 notices of motions from Councillor Ramadas, and as I understand it, and Mr. McConnell can correct me if I'm wrong, they will be read by Councillor Ramadas into the record this evening, but they'll be brought back to the next regular council meeting for discussion. So, Councillor Ramadas, if you don't mind, item 12.1.
Not at all, Your Worship. Thanks for that. I've got 2 options here.
Well, and Mr. McConnell has a paper copy if you'd like.
Oh, I can read from here. Very kind of you. Thank you. The first notice of motion 12.1 is be it resolved that for calendar years 2024 and 2025 that the mayor, 1 staff member, and up to 2 council members are authorized to attend to the AGM of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, the AGM of the AKBLG, and any other events not directly connected with provincial government engagements. This resolution does not apply to the AGM of UBCM, for which current policy will apply. Want me to read the second one?
Thank you. And now item 12.2, please.
Thanks. The 12.2 is notice of motion Be it resolved that the staff bring to the council a report to determine the feasibility of establishing crosswalks at two intersections, namely Mount Trinity Avenue and Mount Ingram Street, and Mount Trinity Avenue and Mount Clore Street, with the goal of improving overall pedestrian safety for children, staff, and parents at the Sophie Morgeau School and the community at large.
Thank you, Councillor. And those are now in the record. Thank you, Mr. McConnell. Which
And my
moves us-
job might be not safe.
I'm sorry?
My job might not be safe.
That will move us along to item 15, reports from council members. And I'll start with our youth councillor, Councillor Annis, if you don't mind.
I have nothing to report on. Hope to see everybody in pink tomorrow.
Councillor McIsaac.
Thank you, Worship. Not very much to report on other than report on an AKBLG meeting today, discussing resolutions received from communities to be brought to the AGM and hopefully discussed and voted upon and moved on to UBCM. And we've had many positive incidents of that in the past and looking forward to more. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ramadas.
Thanks, Your Worship. Just one social event that I was able to attend. I didn't volunteer. I just attended the Elk Valley Nordic Society ski race. Lots of kids, lots of parents were involved. I also saw a certain CAO and their family also being very aerodynamic and moving fast on the ice. So it was a great event. Congratulations to all the parents and the kids.
Excellent. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor McIsaac.
Thank you, Worship. Thank you for letting me come back again. I had forgotten an event that I attended to as arm candy at the fight night that happened on the weekend, where my wife got to be the fight doctor, which was super fun and got me a ringside seat. What a great event. I can't believe I haven't been to it before. It was extremely well attended, a lot of fun had, and very exciting. So a well-run event. Congratulations to Fernie's Old School Boxing Club.
Excellent. Thank you. Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you, Your Worship. I too, along with Councillor McIsaac, have been involved with a number of AKBLG meetings over the last couple of weeks, resolutions and reviewing a new website for them. But other than that, not much else to discuss.
Councillor Adia Kelly.
Thanks, Your Worship. I was fortunate to attend the skijoring that Freedom Equine Ponies and Planks. It's awesome. I seriously hope it becomes an annual event. A significant amount of funds were raised for the charity, which helps people with mobility issues and such. So I think that was really great. And I am excited to say that I am going to be a judge at the Grizz Day Parade. So I am excited about that. So bring it on for all the floats and stuff. And everybody, yeah, anti-bullying day tomorrow. We just want to raise awareness for that. One of our strategic priorities as a council is to be kind. And I hope that everyone else has that as a strategic priority too. So thanks, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor. And don't forget that Chief Morgan and I will be in the parade, so. No pressure. Thank you for that, and thank you for the reminder that Grizz Day is this weekend, of course, and lots of fun events for visitors and residents alike, so really looking forward to that. We do, of course, have our budget open house coming this Thursday evening here at 6:30 at the Fernie Senior Center. So encourage everyone who may be listening or watching to make an effort to come out to that, and attending tomorrow night at the Fernie Heritage Library, Art in the Stacks at 6 in the evening. I was roped in by a friend, so I'm curious to know what's going to happen, but very much looking forward to that. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for those reports. And with that, I will turn to Mr. McConnell to read the recommendation as we move in camera.
Thank you, Your Worship. The recommendation is that the meeting be closed to the public pursuant to section 90 sub 1 sub C of the community charter, as the subject matter being considered at this time relates to labor relations or other employee relations.
Can I have a mover? Councillor McIsaac, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. We will then go into closed, and thank everybody who's watched or is watching this later. Thank you.